very annoying with lives. I'll just give it a little bit of time. So, welcome to the live. This live will be about cold approach in Stockholm and Sweden, my experiences so far, doing it myself alone, and then coaching my Swedish client. We just had his first date, first time ever he approached in his life. He did have some experience with going out at night in clubs with friends, but today he basically did his very first daytime cold approach in Stockholm, and he did really good. So he doesn't want me to reveal his real identity, but he's a Swedish guy. I'll call him Hank. Hank. So I'm in Stockholm in Sweden for coaching Hank. We've just completed his very first day and he did really good. So personally, I'm here for 6 nights in total. I arrived here on Monday. Was it Monday or Tuesday? So today we are Friday, and I flew in from Brussels, got out of the plane straight to my Airbnb, straight to the city center, got out of the T Central and Central Station and just started cold approaching by myself. 22 approaches, that's a lot if you do that alone. Just arriving in a new city, and it's been very, very tough, okay? So Stockholm, Sweden, cold approach, it's not easy. It is very hard. The women are totally confused. They rarely stop at all. So it's so hard to make them stop. It's incredibly hard to make them stop. And I mean, I thought after Belgrade in Serbia that I'd been through the worst, and that would be my like personal immersion to like perfection, the cold approach. But I think at this point I can say Sweden is more difficult than Belgrade. Why? Because in Belgrade, if you are very persistent and dominant and just insist on making them stop, like you literally need to say like, stop 1 second, stop right now. And this is something I worked out with together with Joseph. And when I was with him in Belgrade in Sweden, Belgrade in Serbia last year. So, and then I had a wing with me, right? I had a guy next to me. Yes, I'm Belgium. I am Belgium, half Belgian, half French. So I had Joseph with me, which is, he's a great guy to have with you, just in general. But for cold approach specifically, you have somebody that supports you and to give you feedback and to exchange ideas. And we would kind of figure out together why it was so hard in Belgrade to stop women. But here in Sweden, I'm by myself, and I did cold approach, a solo cold approach for like 3 days in a row, basically, alone. And I didn't get any number the first 2 days, like nothing. I did have a couple of nice conversations, but the most of the girls, it just simply did not stop. They refused to stop, and you can feel it in their energy, in their vibe. You can see it in their eyes that they cannot cope with the fact that they're being approached by a stranger, and that they suddenly need to communicate with a strange man. Very, very, very weird, actually. So yeah, that's just weird. And those by the way, they're not really rejections. I mean, I know what guys really mean with rejection in cold approach is like, oh, she didn't like me, I didn't close her, I'm not going on a date with her, so she rejected me, right? That's total garbage, complete bullshit. You cannot, as I said in previous life, also about Stockholm, is rejection in cold approach basically almost doesn't exist. But so back to the story, I just got back home to my Airbnb, and first I started off the day with coaching Hank. He was very nervous, like extremely nervous when I met him. which is normal. Like, but he literally, his hand was shaking when I first shook his hand. We met at it's called King's Garden in English. I will not try and say that in Swedish. It's a very hard language to pronounce. But we just had a conversation about, look, what is it that you're looking to achieve this week? What are you trying to get out of this? What are your experiences with women and dating? He told me he had some experience with night life, clubbing with friends, but he's just sick of, yeah, he's too old to still go out at night with a bunch of dudes, staying up late, going to clubs. It's loud, it's noisy, women are drunk. It's just not the best way and not the most sustainable way to have a social life and an overall like functioning life, a private life, you know? How can you have a full-time job, take care of your household, yourself, go to the gym, go to the fucking supermarket and go clubbing, like, you know, stay up late and drink alcohol? That's just bullshit. That's a fantasy existence. It's unless you like you have a really good crew in a really good city and you know what you're doing, or and you're actually having the time of your life, I would not recommend trying to do that for a very long time. So that's why, you know, you can learn daytime cold approach, and that solves a problem for you. It takes some time to learn it, but you can actually get some excellent results. So because Hank was so nervous, I decided to not go straight into direct cold approaches, but to give him a bunch of warm-up exercises to get used to being out in public, being out in a big city. Not everybody is used to spending a lot of time in very crowded, very noisy, chaotic cities. So like every hour we took about 2 breaks where we just sat down under a tree in the shadow for about 5 to 10 minutes so he could relax and come back to his you know, senses. I don't want the guy to die during a cold approach coaching session. But you know what's so good about Hank, and what really you know, surprised people, what is very impressive about the guy, he's a very like a good guy, very friendly guy, but he never hesitated. As soon as I gave him the warm-up exercises, the guy just took action immediately. And that's exactly the mindset that you need, because the longer you wait to take action, the harder everything becomes. And yeah, just the more stress you will feel. So very basic stuff I asked him to do, like he like go to her and ask her the time, right? First, like 4 or 5 women, he asked them like, how late is it? And then I told him to add this little story about, oh, I don't have my phone with me, blah blah blah, I'm meeting my friends. And then the next step was like, okay, ask the women where T Central and T Central and the Central Station. Ask them where it is, and then like for an hour long, he was just asking women where the Central train station is, or the metro station. And you know what is remarkable is that all these women were very willing to help him. They were all very friendly. Nobody was rude. Nobody was annoyed. Everybody was giving him big smiles. He's a very friendly, very charming guy himself. So no surprise, right? And even these little warm-up exercises of asking the time and asking where the central train station is just made him already realize that you can actually approach literally every woman you see on the street, and she'll most likely just, you know, help you out and be nice to you. Women are usually very friendly creatures. But okay, cold approach coaching isn't just about, you know, asking the time and asking for directions. And so eventually he did do his first direct cold approaches, ended up with saying they look very beautiful, and the women were lovely to him. They were really good, and he was still very stressed out, but yeah, he took action. That's the main thing I'm trying to say here, is like he he didn't hesitate. He wasn't waiting too long. And given the fact that the guy was so stressed because he's just not very experienced with women, and the fact that he's not, you know, his hometown isn't like so big and chaotic as Stockholm. So it was difficult for him, but he took action, and that's what counts. That's what is most important. So we'll do the same thing tomorrow, Saturday, and then the same thing Sunday. Um, Funny as well is that the guys, they think they will be doing this cold approach immersion, is that they think they'll be doing this the entire day, but usually after about 4 hours they're completely cooked and they just get very tired, which I personally experienced as well when I was learning this in Barcelona. It's just the fact that you're walking around scanning the street, laser focused on like finding women for the first time. After a couple of hours, it literally makes you tired, physically tired, and like even gives you like a slight headache. But now it's like it's my normal state of being when I walk around. But yeah, it's interesting. Guys coming in, they always think like, oh, I'll do so many approaches and I'll just keep on talking to women forever and I can do this the whole day, blah, blah, blah. And then after 4 hours, they're completely cooked. But yeah, that's normal. I experienced it myself. So it was a very sunny day today. It was great weather. It kind of defrosted the cold Swedish icy blondes here. People were generally in a good mood, and also it's Friday, so you have like the weekend coming up, so people were a little bit more receptive. But yeah, so we started at 2 in the afternoon. About a little before 6 p.m. we headed back to King's Garden where we started the day. So we split up, gave him some feedback, told him what went well. It went really well. What we're gonna do tomorrow, basically. And so my plan was, okay, let me do a couple of approaches myself alone, and you know, let me get some infields. Let me use my Ray-Ban Metas with the camera in, and let me just get a couple of infields to show you guys, and show my friends and the guys from my group, to show them like how difficult it is to make a Swedish woman stop. And so as I'm walking from King's Garden to Central Station, first approach I do basically is this absolutely ridiculously smoking hot Swedish girl, like a brunette with hair like here, and she was wearing like a very, very casual outfit, almost like she's going to the gym, but then it wasn't really a training outfit. It was like a dress, because it was long, but like this cotton casual dress. But her shape is just fucking insane. So you can see her string, like her underwear, through the fabric of her dress. It had like a amazing ass, like ridiculous, massive boobs as well, and like this thin waist. And yeah, she was loving the approach straight from the start. So we're just talking there for like more than 5 minutes, and I'm amazed, like, wow, she's not running away immediately, and she's stopping, right? Because I just experienced it's like 50 cold approaches myself, where most of the women, they don't stop, or some of them, they're very charming and lovely, but they have a boyfriend. And then well, actually before today, I WhatsApp closed a Swedish blonde girl in one of the malls in Östermalm. But okay, but other than that, most of them, they simply don't stop, right? And so I'm standing there with this 22-year-old brunette, and I'm like, wow, she's talking to me, and she's receptive, and she's kind. And at this point, I know I need to talk about that. My friends warn me that Swedish women are very shy, and like, are you shy? And we talk about the fact that she's shy and nervous and so on and so on. And she's really enjoying it. She's giving me these like light blue husky you know, the crazy stare eyes, like the heart-shaped eyes, and I'm like, whoa, this is really working this time. Finally, a girl that can take it, and she's young as well. It's good. So I explained to her that I was just looking for a place to get some coffee because my plan was to just pop some espressos and go nuts myself for my personal reasons to explore the Swedish women, right, to get a date basically. And so she joins me. We go to Espresso House, which is basically Scandinavian version of Starbucks but better. We go on this coffee date. We're sitting there for about 45 minutes. She explained, she talks to me about her plans to, she was having a birthday party tonight. She was going to a birthday party of one of her friends, and they they booked a hotel room to celebrate one of her friends' birthday in that hotel. And so after 45 minutes of us drinking coffee together, we split up. She's like, oh, I'm gonna meet my friends, and I'm gonna buy some drinks, and then we're going to that hotel to party together. Okay. I got her WhatsApp and I got her Instagram. We split up, and like 5 minutes later, she's texting me, saying to me like, "Hey, do you want to meet up again?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, what happened? Are you being kidnapped or something? She calls me immediately. She's like, "Where are you?" I meet her again at King's Garden, and she says, "Well, the hotel called and they said that they canceled the room, and we don't know the reason. Whatever. Maybe she canceled her friend's party because she wanted to hang out with me. I don't know. We'll never know. It's not important." So we're sitting in this King's Garden, and right there, I just like the sexual tension is through the roof, right? So we sat there for like 15 minutes talking in the sun, and I'm like, look, it's getting late. I was actually about to go to the supermarket and cook some food, so if you want, you can join me to come with me to my Airbnb. So literally I'm trying to pull her back to mine, and she's like, well, let's do something, let's go bowling. And I'm okay. So we went bowling, and we did like 2 bowling games. She had like 3 glasses of wine, and then we're sitting down having some dinner. No, we're sitting down at the table after the second bowling game. We're just sitting across each other, and again I'm like, I grabbed her hands and I looked at her and I said, I would really love to bring you back to my apartment. um and she had this blush on her cheeks, and this she was staring at me like her eyes were like about to fucking pop out. So I was very straightforward with her. Basically said, look, I'd love to take you with me to my apartment, and I'd love for you to spend the night with me. And she was just like smiling and staring at me and saying, well, she said, I'll think about it. I'll think about it. I'm struggling with decent English here. Let me drink some more water. So she said she would think about it. And then we talk a bit more about her relationship experiences, and she basically had a ton of horrible experiences with like weird guys that tried to, like kind of abuse her when she was going out to clubs, and the guys were trying to touch her in her bed or something. All these things that she's talking about. She literally called the cops on one of those guys that was putting his hands on her when she said, no, I don't want to, and he just kept on doing it. So she literally called the cops on the guy, and she said that he had to go to court or something. Fucking insane stuff she was talking about. So she had 2 boyfriends, but both were very bad experiences. One toxic guy, and then there's another guy that wanted to sleep with her. She didn't like it, so she called the cops on him, and the guy ended up in fucking jail. And then some other stories about her, like her parents splitting up, divorced, father cheated on her mom with her best friend, and yeah, and then when she was in Cannes with one of her best friends in McDonald's, she said some guy ran into McDonald's, pointed a gun at her best friend, and she went behind the guy with the gun and like basically grabbed his arms and forced him on the ground. So fucking insane. Can you imagine like a 20 or 22-year-old girl like overpowering a guy in Cannes? You know, Cannes in France, where they have the Cannes Film Festival, and you know, like taking control over a guy with a gun. Like that's some badass chick. She's really cool, and all this time she's like, she has this innocent, sweet Swedish smile on her face with this just unreal body, just fucking insane. And at this point, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm taking this girl home with me, because every time I asked her if she wanted another drink, she was like, yeah, I'll have another glass of wine. I would like some more wine. I'm like, whoa, she's going for it. And I even offered her some water. You know, they have these water bottles that you can just take, tap water. So I was giving her um, some water as well. I said again, like, look, we can go to the supermarket next to my house, and then we'll cook something. You can leave anytime. Like, you can. It's very important to say this, by the way, for guys who are interested in like pulling girls back to their place. Basically, everyone watching this channel, you need to explain to her how the experience will be for her. You know, when she's going to your house, you need to give her, you need to put her at ease, make her feel comfortable, not as a as a manipulation tactic, but basically say to her like, look, I want to be straightforward with her, right? I want to take you to my place. I would like to spend the night with you. We don't need to do anything you don't want. I'm not a crazy guy. I would love to sleep with you, but we don't need to have sex. That's what I literally said. And you can leave anytime. It's very important to say you can leave anytime. If you want to leave my place, I'll get you an Uber. So you pay for the Uber. You make sure she get home safe whenever she wants it, right? And then again, she was like, I'll think about it. But in my mind, I was like, yeah, this is gonna work out. I just need to wait a little bit. She had more wine. I even said like, that's enough wine now. That's your last glass. Eventually we finished the food, but she decided to go home. I was like, all right. And I took the metro, and now I'm home. But it was a really nice experience. So yeah, cold approach. Day one for Hank, Swedish guy. He would probably call himself very introverted, but to be honest, it's just a lack of experience. That's what it is. Yeah, you just need to get yourself into a big city and get yourself around guys who know how to do this. That's just that's the ultimate life hack, you know. So I think that's it. Let me see these questions. Oh, we have a lot. Jesus Christ. So yeah, let's start from the top. Are you Belgian? Yes, I am half Belgian, half French. I have a Belgian passport. All right, Trinity. Did you meet the RSD crew members? No, I know who RSD. I know who they are. I haven't watched a lot of their content myself. Some videos. Is he called Owen Cook, the blonde guy? Yeah, I'm not impressed by it, to be honest. I know they have this legendary status, you know, this mythical status, like they're the OGs of pickup or whatever. But from what I've seen myself, I think it's just very American, and not in a good way. I'm not anti-American. I've met a lot of great Americans. I like American women. I like American guys, the good ones. But a lot of the dating space and cold approach pickup stuff that's American is not really, I don't really resonate with it. I do respect Coach Kyle a lot for what he does. And I like his channel, I like his videos, but his cold approach is just, to be honest, just average compared to other guys that I know. But he's a cool guy, I respect him. So but RSD, nah, I don't know it that well, but from what I've seen myself, it just it's bullshit basically. And then from stories I heard from other guys talking about RSD, it's usually negative. But this is just, you know, secondhand information. I've also heard from several people that guys who got coached by RSD, they just suck. It's a scam basically. So they don't get results, or not the results they want. It's always like a group coaching thing, and you don't really get coached. Most of the time, you don't really get coached by the guys from RSD itself. So yeah, fuck RSD. You know, Gabriel Blub. What's your normal quote or ratio for day game? Let's say approaches to numbers you get, and from these numbers, how many dates and lays. What you say it's normal for you and your day game friend. Yeah, that depends. That depends on so many different things. It depends on the city you're cold approaching. It depends on whether or not you're doing it alone. It depends on how good you are. It depends what your goals are as well. Like I'm not trying to date every woman I cold approach. I'm really not. I'm at a point where I'd rather go home alone than spend my time, money, and energy on just dating a girl hoping to get laid. So it's better to, for me, it's better to have no sex than to have sex with a woman that I don't really enjoy spending time with, you know? So the, I guess a better question is like, from all the cold approaches you do, how many women, from that pool of women, like how many are actually a match for you? That's really a better question. But I get it. Like I respect guys that go out there trying to bang as many chicks as they can. You know, if that's something you want to do, then by all means do it. It's definitely a great exercise, but I've never really done it that much. And to be honest, the times like when you feel that you can do it, me personally, I just lose interest in it. So the closest I got to this was in Barcelona, because it's the easiest city to pull, so to speak. What happens is you set up dates, and then I ended up not going on those dates because I was just sick of it. Or you meet a better option, right? So you set up a date with a girl, and then later on that day you set up a date with another girl, and then you cancel the first date to go on the second date. And then the second date, you know, for example, my last week in Barcelona last year, I met this really cute African girl, but I knew like if I go on a date with her, like I can probably sleep with her. But then I met another girl I liked a lot more. Don't really remember which one, doesn't matter. So I canceled the first date to go on the second date. But then later I met this really cute Russian girl, this Instagram influencer travel girl. She was ridiculously hot and beautiful, really nice girl. But she told me this story like, oh, I'd love to go out with you, but I bought a ticket to go to this flamenco show that's at 9:30, so I'll have to go to that flamenco show. And I was thinking, no way I'm going out with a girl knowing that at some point she's going to that fucking flamenco show. Plus I know that flamenco show, I've seen it before. I actually went to that show as a date the year before. So I canceled that date. I was like, no, I'm not going out with a girl that has plans later on that night. And then I met this Moroccan girl, and I ended up going for drinks with her, and then she spent the night with me. So these kind of things happen. You need to pick your girls. So don't try to just like get laid, but you need to pick your, you need to spend your time and energy with women that you actually enjoy spending time with. So yeah, it depends where. Like here in Sweden, man, you're not gonna get a lot of numbers from daytime cold approach. This is not, it's like Stockholm. Daytime cold approach in Stockholm is not a, it's not a sustainable model like all year long. Probably in summer, like now till September, you can get decent results if you work like a massive volume. You probably want to get a night time crew together as well. You don't want to stick to the daytime. But yeah, basically if you want to become an absolute god and like a cold approach god, this is a good training ground. But don't expect to like pull girls back to your place every day. Okay, would also be nice how you compare your game with likes of Afrom. What's likes of Afrom? Or your friends who game with you in Belgrade and Barcelona. Would be nice to compare your style with them and Christian Casanova. Well, I mean, you can see Christian Casanova. It's fucking awesome. Christian Casanova is amazing. Very direct. What can you say about Christian Casanova? And who else? I don't know who with likes of Afrom. Who's Afram, Pull University. Afram is very likable. Afram is very good at having, very good at small talk, very good at having nice fluent conversations with girls. When I did 2 sets with him in Barcelona, so I'm the first time I met Ephraim was in Barcelona, and within 30 minutes we're doing a 2 set on La Rambla together, and I was just impressed with how smooth this guy was and how good he was just at generating like making random conversation, right? I was like, whoa, he talks a lot more than me. I'm more laid back in my approaches. I'm more like taking pauses, more like staring at girls sometimes, and I would have these little gaps in my conversation, and the little gaps in the dialogue where I would like pause and stare at girls and do a lot of non-verbal things, build more around the vibe. And Ephraim would fill up these silences with very smooth, conversation. And I noticed this again in Belgrade, to the point where I sometimes got nervous, thinking like, shit, I'm missing out on opportunities because I'm not talking enough. So yeah, so I think that answered the question, right? So we've got Ephraim, we've got Christian Casanova. I never did a 2 set with Christian Casanova. I've seen him cold approach in front of me, but I've never listened in live on his audio. I don't think so. But I spent a decent amount of time with him in Barcelona. I saw him in London as well. The guy is absolutely hilarious. He's very funny. Very, like, in a way, very dominant in his cold approach. Like he gets and he holds their attention like no other, you know. The women are they're absolutely like enchanted. And then Joseph is very, very dominant and very masculine, very grounded, and he completely normalizes the cold approach experience for him. So that's one of his superpowers. And he was the first guy I saw. I noticed this in Barcelona. The first times I saw him cold approach was he commands the women to stop. He's like, stop 1 second. He was very dominant with making them stop, and I didn't know you could do that. So I remember thinking like, this guy is very very firm with how he's making them stop. I thought that was really impressive. Yeah. That those are my thoughts on these guys. Um, from Box Reflex. Oh, nice. Antwerp. Yeah, I've heard there's some guys doing some cold approach in Antwerp. I've never seen it, but I've heard women. Some women told me that they've been approached. My sister called me recently saying that she got approached by some dude in Antwerp. Yeah, why not? But he wasn't really smooth, she said, and was a bit young. Michael Jackson's pronouns. Yeah, fuck pronouns. Powder ship. Nobody knows what that means. Would be also nice how you see rest days. Some day games, 7 days straight, but I prefer to take rest days. And would be nice to hear more about your day game sets in detail and more date stories. Well, yeah, here's the thing. Like, I live in Ghent in Belgium, and it's just been winter, so um, it's been pretty boring. Even though I released a decent amount of infields, even on Christmas Day, you can find them in the infield section. Yeah, low power mode. I don't think so. So so yeah, you'll be hearing more and more date stories and cold approach stories. Definitely when I move out of Belgium. Mm, so yeah, the real powder slap. What is that? Can you compare all the countries you day gamed, or is it only a minimal difference? Maybe you also day gamed in Germany. No, I didn't. I did go to Germany recently to visit a girlfriend, but I didn't. I didn't cold approach because then she would have been with me, right? Najmi. So if anybody has more, so Gabriel, like, I think I've seen you on my channel a couple of times and on on Joseph's channel maybe during his lives. I don't know. Like, are you actually you are cold approaching? And where are you from again? So yeah, rest. I think there is a limit for cold approach, or it's that you find your niche, or that you should improve more to get higher level of women, or mix day game with other things like online dating. Yeah, the yeah. So is cold approach limited? Yeah, 100%. How is it limited? Um, the thing that will always beat cold approach is social circle. Social circle, social status, that will almost always beat uh, cold approach. And by the way, I think we should also make the difference between like solo cold approach and cold approaching with wings, because that's a huge difference. So yeah, cold approach is limited in the sense that, for example, the typical thing, and I was having this conversation today with Hank, my client. So he said, well, I just saw this really hot, beautiful girl, but she was with her boyfriend, and that guy just looked like an absolute idiot, right? That's so typical. You see the smoking hot girl with the stupid idiot. You see it in Belgium. You see it in Spain. You see it in Stockholm and Sweden, and Belgrade as well. You know, the fat Balkan guy with the hot sexy girlfriend, right? Like, how is that possible? And we as guys, we just see an idiot, a fat bastard, like Joseph says. So why is that? Well, the answer is it's because they know the guy. That's the simple answer. They know the guy. They spend time with him. They know him from their social circle. They know these people from school, from work. They went out together in a group. They got drunk together, and then they fucked each other. Decided to have a relationship. So if you have a good social circle and you know people, you are part of groups, you go to school, you go to dance classes or whatever it is, you know a lot of people in the gym, that's always that's always that will bring in like natural organic leads into your life. So yeah, cold approach is a skill you must learn, but you should apply it to a broader social lifestyle, and it's not something you should be doing alone all the time. And I understand that for a lot of guys out there, that's kind of the antidote to a basically you're hoping that you can use it as an antidote to a incomplete social life, right? And it kind of works, but it's limited. Exactly. If you're a DJ or you're a movie star, um, or you playing the Beatles, I don't know if I know the Beatles is a very old British band, but you have these videos of their concerts in like these stadiums in the UK. This is just insane. They go in and there's like 90% of the crowd is like 20-year-old women. They're like screaming. They basically are screaming so loud that the PA system, the audio system of that time wasn't able to, reach a higher volume than the screaming women. So they basically could almost not perform because the girls are screaming so loud. So yeah, these guys didn't need cold approach. Yeah, you should be focused on finding wings. You should basically invest more time in networking and finding wings and getting a crew together, getting a gang together, than learning solo cold approach. But the problem, as we all know, is like, where are the cool guys that are willing to do this and that are not fucking idiots? Yeah, I know, man, don't approach. Because then there's a bunch of losers that stubbornly believe in the old school pickup stuff. Um, yeah, but that's just not the way to go. So where are the cool? The ultimate challenge is like, where are the cool guys that are productive, that are thinking up and not down, that are positive, that are healthy, that want to learn and practice cold approach together in a good healthy way, not in some stupid red pill pickup artist garbage way. Yeah, good luck. Good luck. The London day game model is creepy. Yeah, the London day game model. Why don't you try the Christian Casanova London day game model? That's better. It's a better one. I know in Scandinavia men don't approach, which is a reason why you should learn approach. And actually, they do approach because there's an insane crew in Copenhagen. They're doing really good. Copenhagen is way easier than Stockholm. Yeah, you need a balance. The problem with Western guys is that they spend too much time alone. The older you get, is the more time you spend alone, and it's totally normalized. And then you get a girlfriend and you stay at home, and then you got drunk with your friends, and then you stay home and you play PlayStation alone. um, of course, some guys get kids, get girlfriends, and they become lazy. They don't do shit anymore. So the older you get, after you leave school, then you know some guys from work. But yeah, New York. Oh, cool, New York. I've heard. I've never been in New York myself. I've been in Baltimore and Washington D.C. But not New York City. No. No, I've heard it's good. It's good. There's really nice girls there. So you can ask Afram about New York City. He's coached guys there. I will get some infields in New York City at some point, but yeah, I've heard New York City is really good. So that's it, boys. That's a wrap. First day of coaching Hank in Stockholm. I just had a nice instant date, and tomorrow is day 2, and then Sunday is day 3, and that's it. Then I'm going back. Then I will most likely be in Belgrade in July, and I will be in Greece in August. Yeah. So yeah, any more questions? What do you think? What do you think about what? We need balance. Yeah, balance. All right, boys. I don't know, Gabriel, do you have a question or I'm just gonna call it a day? All right, gentlemen, see you.